And because I'm in this like mind that when we hang around the best, we become the best. We pick up habits and traits from the best. And without a doubt, in the network marketing space, I don't think there's anybody I could have gotten who has more wisdom, more insight, and is as compassionate about what he's doing than Foster. So how we're going to do it tonight is he's going to talk for however long he wants to talk. Then as he's talking, I've asked you all to think about some questions you might have about building your business, growing your business. This is all about business development. Then hopefully we have a short Q&A where we share some time together. Then we'll be dismissed. So please have your notebooks ready and to share. And so let me give you a little bit of background. Foster also is originally from Ghana. So I think we're family members. My people are from Ghana. And he currently resides in Toronto, Canada. And he is, like I said, he is the supreme, not just trainer, business leader, but for me, more importantly, a human being. He is a supreme human being. Like if you aspire to be a good human being, he would be a model I would tell you to take a look at. Because he's just observing him over these last few years. He's just that type of person. Also, I have my direct upline on this thing, Kelvin Abron. He is the reason why I'm in this company. He's one of the reasons why I'm here doing this, because we brainstorm every single day. Every single day we call each other at least 4 or 5 times, trying to figure out what can we do to help people become more successful in this business, right? I don't get a lot of sleep because I'm always thinking about how can I help people to become more successful in this business. So one of the things I came up with is, well, let's just have the best and the brightest I can get my hands on in different fields and different things to come on and share. And it's because success leaves clues. So let us be attentive to the clues that he's going to leave. And so that we can sort of implement those things in our own lives and our own business, because network marketing isn't just about making money, but it's about becoming the best version of yourself. And this background that I have, it's the fisherman throwing out the nets to catch fish. It's very important. In our business, what we do is we throw the net out, but we don't know what we're going to bring in. If the fisherman does not throw the net out, he doesn't catch any fish. And so hopefully after the end of this day, you would be inspired enough to start throwing out your nets every day so that you can start catching some fish in terms of rescuing people's lives from maybe health issues and rescuing people's lives from financial ruin that might be impending in their lives. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Foster, and let us all just take our pens, take some copious notes. And if you're on my team, we know we're going to have a follow-up call, and we're going to talk about what you learned so I can learn what you learned, so I can become better at what I am doing. So thank you, Mr. Foster. The floor is all yours.
Hey, Conrad. I appreciate this. Hello, everyone. I know that I can hear everybody at once, but I'm seeing even familiar names. I'm seeing Sarah Gibson and other names that I have come in contact with. I see Juliet and many others. But if I don't acknowledge you on this call, know you are there and you are in my heart. This call for me, even though this is the first of its kind that Conrad is inviting me to, is just as personal for me as it is for him and everybody that is on this call. So if I get a little emotional, I'll tell you why, because this is important. And it is important because as I share a little bit about my history with Immunotec, which started way back in 1999, precisely February 3rd of 1999. When I saw this, it was presented to me by a doctor, not an MD, but somebody with a PhD in science. And I must admit, a lot of what I heard went over my head. I tell people jokingly that I used to have a very nice afro when I joined Immunotec, but the information went over my head and they chopped all my hair off. But I got a couple things out of my first meeting, and that was to do with the immune system. And then I started looking at the wellness industry, doing the math, thinking if you have a unique product that literally everybody needs, but not too many people know about it, as some of you heard on the call today, once upon a time in the history, during the research age of this company, the world's population was around 4 billion. Today is 8 billion. So I was looking at the numbers even back then. A product that everybody needs for the immune system, but not too many people knew about it at the time. I thought, my goodness, even if you get just 1% out of it at some point. So that was what I was looking at. I also want to talk a little bit about timing along this line because remember, during the 80s, everything that we heard about HIV and the immune system, and also with the help of Dr. Luc Montagnier, this also became a little personal for me when I first looked at the Immunocar product and the Immunotec opportunity. As some of you already know, the AIDS, HIV, plagues had really hit Africa in a very big way. So here I am looking at a product that is going to strengthen the immune system. Some of the clinical trials that through the the HIV network here in Canada that oversaw the research of this product really got my attention. I started thinking, what if I'm going to be one of the people who's going to help to get this product to the continent of Africa? So a lot of things were very personal to me. Long story short, I joined the company, and if you don't know the story, the science made sense, but I started asking business questions. Who else is involved in this business besides you, doctor? She did not come across as somebody who really knew her stuff on the business front. But fortunately for me, two names came up, and one of them was John Solider, a guy who was mentioned in this deal. His name is Piero Di Bianco. So I knew Piero and John all together. Now, when I heard their names, it didn't make sense for me personally because I knew them from a previous business. And at the time, they were the top guys with our company. So just imagine people who are already earning about $40,000 a month, you getting news that they have now joined a different company. I said, this doesn't make sense, or something is smelling really, really nice on this side, and I need to find out. So I called Piero Di Bianco. I said, Piero, I just had a meeting with this doctor, and she mentioned your name. Is it true that you are with a company called Immunotec? He was dying with laughter. He said, she got you, huh? I said, who got who? I just want to know, are you with Immunotec or not? He said, well, why don't you come home and let's talk? He was a short Italian guy, and at the time, he lives in a place here in Toronto. We call it Mississauga Road. It's a very posh area. I mean, it's like very exclusive. So I said, let me go meet this guy. I went and I thought we were going to talk about Immunotec and Immunocar. The first thing he had to do was to make me espresso and all that stuff. And I had to get, my goodness. Then he started telling me the story. And the more I heard about it, the more I started leaning forward. The more I started leaning forward, and I said, you must be kidding. A Canadian product, research at McGill University, and now it's a network marketing opportunity. A lot of things were just like, whoa. So I said, okay, this is good enough. Is there a chance for me to go and visit the home office? And this is what I'm going to say. If you are taking notes, I want you to put this bold in your notes. I want you to start thinking big from day one. I want you to do that, and I will explain to you. because less than a week that I joined this company, I was on my way to Montreal. You know, it's funny how things happen. When you listen to the Immunotec story, there is a word that Dr. Bunos used to use a lot, and I've listened to him many times. It's called serendipity. And he used that a lot because what happens, just think about this. I heard and found out about Immunotec on February 3rd of 1999. That same very day, my sister-in-law, who was living with us at the time, we got news that she's been diagnosed with cervical cancer. Wow. Now, you know, she's been an attorney for Microsoft for the past 20 years. But what happens is, this was almost like a wake-up call. You heard about a natural product that's supposed to keep the immune system healthy. You come home, and then somebody in your family had a condition that should even get your attention to really force you to look into this much further. Well, I had given her some information, and she spent, literally, being a lawyer, she spent hours on the internet with this doctor, back and forth to almost 1 a.m. the following day, you know, February 4th. But then the next day, she went to Princess Margaret Hospital here in Toronto, came back in the afternoon. The first question was, how soon can I get my product? Hello, people. How soon? I'm thinking, okay, I don't even need to recruit this person who is a family member. The question was, how soon can she get her product? And I figure, I better sign up very quickly before she gets her product from somewhere. But this is what happened. I went to Montreal, and I could not believe that I was actually facing Dr. Bunos, looking at this man straight in the eye. And I met John Molson, met Mr. Chuck Robert, and it's like, hold on a second, this thing is real. It's real. But I'll show you all something. I mean, we don't have a slide here, but I want you to look at this, that this was my very first picture with the founding president of Immunotec. This is Mr. Chuck Robert. At the bottom, there's a little note that some of you cannot see, but I'll read it to you, and hopefully you just take my word for it. I said, I like to think that my investment with Immunotec is $500,000. That is why I treat it like a real business, because it is. And I put a scripture quote on it. It says, as a man think, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. This was 21 years ago. So why am I asking you to think big from day one? There's a reason. If you don't start thinking big from day one, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. Talking to Conrad up until last week, I was excited about his vision. And I'm supporting that vision because he's thinking very big. He's thinking very big because, you know, I don't want to focus on us and make it almost like a race issue. But when I said to you earlier on that this is just as personal for me as it is for Conrad, he wants to be the first, Black platinum in the business. And I want to cheer him on because you need to think that big. It is important. I want you to know that I sincerely mean this. And you need to think that big because if you don't do that, you're going to start looking at some of us who've been in the business longer than you, and you're going to be thinking that, well, why is he going to be the first when there are people like Foster? No. Don't make that mistake. It is so possible for him, just as it is possible for you. If it is your desire, make it yours. I'll give you a good example. When I joined, I was looking for a role model. There wasn't one. When I joined, I was looking for the first Black diamond. There wasn't one. I said, well, then I'm going to be the one. I was looking for the first, Black executive diamond. Guess what? There wasn't one. So I said, damn it, I'm going to be the first Black executive diamond. Now, as I said, I don't want to make this a Black and whatever call, but it's that important to me because for me, when Conrad mentioned that he wants to be the first Black platinum, I'm cheering him on because it is so possible. But you got to want it. You see, you don't just wish for that. You got to want it. When I wanted to be the first Black diamond, when I wanted to be the first, Black executive diamond, when I wanted to be the first Black member of the Millionaire Club, these were things that, it wasn't something that, it was I should. It was a must. You should have seen me when I was going executive diamond. It was like, you gotta be out of the way or keep moving. I was coming like a bulldog. That's how I was coming. I wanted this because for me, it was almost like my life depended on it. Now, some of you are, probably comfortable, and I want you to understand that if I share something on this call for the remaining half an hour or so, and it does not go with, say, your personality, or it's not something that you are hungry for, that's okay. We're all in different stages in our lives. But remember, when I say I wanted this, I wanted it like yesterday. If you have read any of my books, you see that chapter 1, I was big on what I call the power of your why. You're going to have your own reason. You're going to have your own reason. Everybody's reason is different. And, if you have a reason for doing this, you don't even need any motivation from Conrad. You just need encouragement, not motivation. Once you have your own reason. In my book, one of the things that I wrote about in terms of being able to find a reason to do this is I gave a story. And because I'm originally from Africa, and my wife is from Kenya, I'm from Ghana, so I've had the opportunity to travel both east and I've been on a lot of safari trips. And I can tell you, there's something that fascinates me, because every time you go on a safari, you watch the gazelle and the lion, everybody is ready on their feet. The gazelle knows very well that from the time it gets out of bed, it better start running. It's so interesting. Now, the lion is also very, very calculative with its move, that it also knows it must run. But the funny thing is, both the gazelle and the lion must run, but one must outrun the other. They are equally motivated. The gazelle knows very well that if it does not run fast enough, it's going to become somebody's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. The lion is also very well aware that if it does not outrun the gazelle, it's going to go to bed hungry. So both of these animals have an emotional reason why they must keep running. And sometimes with this business, people wait until they start seeing a little bit of success before they start putting their ideas on paper. And, more often than not, when I'm talking to my consultants, I tell them that you need to dig your well way before you are testing. If I'm taking notes right now, I'll put this down. Dig your well before you are tested. Because you see, if you wait until you become successful, then your success story is no longer authentic. So you need to dig your well before you are tested. It's so beautiful to see the background behind Conrad. It says, look at the fish. He has his nets ready. And I tell people, you never know whom you are going to meet. That's why you have to have your net ready. You have to. Les Brown said it best. It says, it's better to be ready for the opportunity and not have one than to have the opportunity and not even be ready. Can you imagine you going out and you run into somebody like Foster, you run into somebody like Jim Spencer, you run into somebody like, John Sullivan, and you just walk down, pass by. That's not somebody ready to catch fish. Dig your well way in advance before you get tested. Have your net ready before you find a fish. You can put it in any context you want. So, today, hopefully, it's not going to be the very first time that I'm going to be talking to you about this. But, I look back and over the years, and I remember when I was inducted into the Millionaire Club in Vegas, and I look back and that celebration on stage, and I'm thinking, man, if only people know how far I have come on stage in Vegas. Some of you, Someday you should take the time and Google my town where I was born. It's an interesting place in Africa. I'll spell it for you in case you get creative to decide to visit Africa and you wanted to book, a hotel or whatever. The name of my town is spelled B-O, like Bob, B-O, O like orange, S like sun, U like umbrella, S like sun, O like orange. It's called Bososo. And it's a small town in the eastern province of Ghana. And I can tell you, if you go online trying to book a hotel, you will not even get a one-star hotel. So don't even try and book any accommodation. And that's how far I've come. I just want you to know this, okay? I gave you the name for a little humor, but don't try and book any hotel you won't. So you go and come, okay? Don't try and spend too much time there. I've come a long way, folks. And the reason why I'm sharing this is not for you to feel sorry for me. That's not the intention. But only to say that if a guy like this, can be the first, let's say, black person in the history of this company 2 decades later, perhaps it is safe at this point to say, without me being pompous on this, to say that the only real face in the Millionaire Club, all I'm hoping to see is for us to start changing our mindset. I want us to start making bold statements like what Conrad said. He wants to be the first Black Platinum. But even if it's not him, it should be one of us. That's the most important thing. It has to be somebody. That's my thing. It has to be somebody. So if it's not me, why not somebody? If it's not you, why not somebody? It has to be somebody. But you have to claim it to make it yours. You have to claim it. The beauty about this is it's actually out there waiting for somebody to claim it. There's an old magazine out there that I was on the cover of an Immunotec magazine, precisely 2008. And there was this big news. Again, if you haven't seen that, I'm going to forward something to Conrad later on. Maybe he can share with you guys. So not so much on the content, but I want to make a statement about the cover of that magazine. But the company published it, of course, at the time we weren't online the way we are today, where we were relying on digital stuff today. But on the cover of that magazine, it was showing the Immunotec Next Million Points Man. And at the time, my TOV, hopefully everybody on this call is a consultant, so I'm not confusing you, but I was around 960,000 points. 960,000 points. So it was fitting to say that the next million point man. That's how close I was. Even close to platinum back then. And I'm talking 2008 volume. Of course, a lot of things have happened. My particular business, I can tell you that certain things have happened. I'm not going to make an excuse for it. I know what has also caused me in terms of momentum somehow. Things have happened. There are certain things that you and I cannot control. So I'm also going to tell you to be, let's say, I'm one of those people I like to say that, have expectations, okay, but also be prepared for certain things. And that is going to take me to 3 points that I'm going to give you towards the end. You'll see that number 3 has a lot to do with personal development. So I'm giving you number 3 in backwards, but you have to be prepared for certain things. Jim Rohn has said it best. You can, plan a beautiful picnic and it will rain on that day. You can't control those things. Okay, there are certain things you cannot control. So what do I mean by this? Well, I remember one of my executive diamond who was directly under me, lovely lady. Years back, unfortunately, she passed away. Her business was willed to her daughter, and she was doing extremely well. As a matter of fact, she was one of my movers and shakers. But I'm looking at the past 8 years coming, and how her daughter just keep cashing in, but has never added even one person to the table. So she's been cashing, but that business, has dwindled to a point where she was a recruiter. She was, wow, you thought that was enough. Another diamond of mine, very professional, an engineer, he also passed away. I won't give you the long list, but I'm like Conrad. There's a rebirth in me. I'm starting all over again. You see, sometimes we have to give some of this historical perspective, because if you don't also get that, then you also probably wonder, well, how come Foster, with all his knowledge, listen, this is not just about your personal knowledge. If it's about that, Conrad will not need any of you guys on this call, okay? But this is not an individual sport. So I also want to make that clear. I'm just throwing stuff here. This is not an individual sport. It's a team sport. So because of that, he needs the encouragement from every one of you. He can't do it alone. That's a fact. But he's not asking you guys to support this in a way just to make him platinum and everybody else is left behind. That's not the agenda. Then it would have been a wrong one. But I want you guys to start thinking about, let's say, the Canadian geese going south in the winter. There's always a leader in the front. You see that V shape. There's always a leader in the front. But what happens is you have people cheering that leader from the back. And as the leader is getting tired, the leader takes turn. It goes to the back, another leader takes. So why I'm excited about this is the fact that hopefully, if not sooner, when there are multiple platinums coming out of this, someday somebody will mention my name and say, man, I remember a call that we had on June 20th, 2020. We had this guy on the call. His name is Foster Wusu, with a very interesting Canadian accent. We did not understand half of what he said, but half of what he said made a lot of sense. And we went to work. I'm looking at Bruce laughing in the back. But you see, that's why I'm here to contribute. Nobody can guarantee anything, but here is what we know. That we have a rich history with Immunotec. We have a rich history, and it's a history that we can be proud of. We also have a rich history. It's a history that you can say miracle happens. I was going to say magic happens, but I'll say miracle happens, where a guy like me can actually be on this level playing field and play it well. And I tell people, when you're in this position, you get questions a lot. And some can get very interesting, because there are a lot of people, like in my case, I go to Mexico a lot. They bring me there. Dr. Pelayo and his team will bring me. They'll pay for my airfare, and I'll go. And again, I was moved one time when a lady rode on the bus for 13 hours to come and hear me. She said, the moment I heard you were coming, took a bus for 13 hours. Wow. And I remember this event. There was about 7,000 people in the room in Mexico City at the Banco Banamex. And this complex, this expo, unbelievable. How they do things in Mexico is beyond me. I was the keynote speaker. You know what time they brought me on stage? 6:30 p.m. They opened the door at 8 a.m. And I had to speak from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And after that, people were lining up to take a picture with me. And I'm thinking, these people are just completely... And by 10 p.m., a guy that today he's like my publicist. He's the son of Blanca Fernandez, Farid. He's the one who told them a very sweet story that Foster is about to miss his flight, so he needs to get going. And he called Uber for me at the time, and I didn't know anything about Uber, folks. Can you imagine going from Canada to Mexico to find out about Uber in 2016? He's the one who called Uber for me. The guy said, well, let's go. Your taxi is coming. And he could see it on his phone. We were walking, and we got down there. He said, it's going to take you to the hotel, and my mom and I will come and get you. We'll go for dinner later on. So I got to my hotel at the Intercontinental Hotel, and then I was about to pay this guy. He could tell that I didn't know what I was doing because I was giving him about 300 pesos. And he said, "Oh, no, they already charged you." And I'm thinking, charge me? By this time, I'm freaking out, thinking, they charged me how? He said, "Oh, they already charged your credit card." And I'm thinking, I didn't even give them my credit card. How could they charge me? He said, "Oh, are you not the one who called?" I said, "No, my friend called." He said, "Oh, then they already charged his credit card." I said, "Really? Is that how it works?" It was later on that night that I learned about Uber. We didn't have it in Canada then, so you can't blame me. But here's something I want you to know, folks. You all know the history of this company, so I'm not going to dwell on that much. But this is a big but. If you decide to do this the right way, in my books, there are so many things that has to be done, but there's 3 things that is not if, it's not even but, it's a must. If you're a leader, and some of the things that I'm going to be talking about, you're already doing them, but you want to make sure that you preach this so that your people get it. Number 1, you want to put yourself on authorship from day one. If you haven't already done so, from now on, don't just buy your favorite product. Set yourself up on an authorship bundle. And you probably want to ask why. Well, it's a very simple one. It's a commitment. It's a commitment to you, and it's a commitment to your team. Again, why? Because you're going to be setting the example. Another example for people to follow. If you're on authorship, you can talk to somebody about authorship. If you are setting the example, you can also teach somebody to set the example. That's where duplication comes in. So number 1, you want to set yourself up on authorship. If you are that serious with a huge goal in front of you, you have to go on authorship. It's not just doing your monthly 400 PV or 600 PV. No. That's not enough commitment. The second thing is you want to start building a team. Again, no one can succeed alone. No one can succeed. And it's not just no one can succeed. No one has ever succeeded. Of course, it's very difficult to even decide and describe, what do you mean succeeded? It's like my daughter and I were talking the other day, and I had to, share something with her. I don't know if I have succeeded or not, but this is what I know. The Foster that you see right now, even if I have not reached where I want to be, I am definitely not where I used to be. That I can tell you. So you can see I'm somewhere in the middle in my life. I am definitely not where I used to be. But I also know that I have not reached where I wanted to be. And that's why I'm excited about this journey. That's why I'm also equally excited about, what Conrad and you guys are about to do. Because whether it's Kevin, whom I'm going to get to speak, and he has, share his experience over the years with us, whether it's Sarah, whether it's Bruce, anybody who's on this call right now, Juliet, it doesn't matter. Someday I'll be calling on you. Someday it could be somebody in your neighborhood, in your city, in your country. To this day, there are people that when I speak, they don't understand my accent. So I may not relate to everybody, but I know there's a guy, born and raised Canadian. First time I talked to him about this opportunity, he had no business interest. But he had seasonal allergies, so he took me on and he decided to try the product. Exactly 2 weeks later, he called me up. He said, "Foster, what's in this product? This is the first time in 20 years I'm not sneezing, I'm not coughing. What's in this product?" I said, "Dog, I don't know much about this. I was told you mix it in water and juice, you drink, it makes you feel better." He said, No. I need to know more about this. I said, "Doc, I cannot explain much, but I've been told you mix it in water or juice, you drink, it makes you feel better." Then he started giving me a list of people that should go on this product. I said, "Hold on a second. You remember our conversation that night at a coffee shop? He said, yeah, what is it? I said, what? You told me you have no business interest. He said, yeah, but I want my family to be on this product. I said, hold on a second, dog. If you give me all these names and they start buying product, the company is going to share their profit with me. It's a profit sharing program. If you know that many people, why don't you get in so that you and I can both benefit from that profit? He goes, really? So yeah, I said, worst case scenario, you get your product for free. He said, let's do it. To be very modest about this guy's commitment and his growth alone has paid me over $1 million in commission. So again, folks, have your nets ready because you never know. And I can tell you a story about how this happened. This guy was inviting me to Prepay Legal meeting, and I only asked him a simple commitment. Doug, would it be okay to have coffee with me afterwards? Because there's something I'd like to show you. And I went in knowing for sure I wasn't going to join any deal, but I wanted him to know what I had to share. And today we were on the screen and I saw somebody through that network of this guy who's still in our business. But there was a lady, her face, the moment I saw her, I was so happy because she had moved from Ontario to upwards somewhere in the Vancouver area. And I haven't seen her in at least 10 years. But she's also a member of the Millionaire Club. She's part of my team, white Canadian. But I was happy to see her face on the screen when Keith Hooper was moving his camera this afternoon. Number two, I mentioned, number one was to go on authorship. Number two, to build a team. And I said, no one can succeed alone. But you also want to build a team because the speed of the leader is always the speed of the team. The speed of the leader is always the speed of the team. So number two, you definitely want to start thinking about building a team. A team of what? This is a team of like-minded individuals. When you're talking to them, you talk to them about this business and how serious it is, not only for you, but hopefully for what it can do for humanity. You know, after this call this afternoon, the Zoom call, if some of you weren't on it, the first message I sent to Mauricio and his response. I mean, like, you know, if you listen to what this man had to share today, every single person who shared something today, whether it was Dr. Gutman interviewing Dr. Patricia Conshovan, whether it was him himself, you know, telling us about how he started, and John Molson, and every single person that was on the call today. I mean, you should be a proud Immunotec consultant. And today, you know, although my goal is not to share strategies today, is to give you perspective. That's why I'm here. I don't want to get into strategies today because I don't do that on a first call. I want to become very familiar with you guys before I can start sharing strategies. I love talking about principles more than strategies because for me, strategies, you know, are more specific for a specific, you know, situation. Let's say Conrad is trying to shoot for a particular goal. Yes, I'll be able to help him strategize. But, you know, those are specific team strategies. But principles, like what I'm sharing with you, going on authorship, it's a principle. It's a business principle. It's a leadership principle. If you're not doing something, it's going to be very difficult for you to tell somebody to do the same thing. Some of my leaders will tell you, you don't make a call to me directly if you are not on authorship. You got to go through the chain. You don't get to me. Not because I'm big, but it's just a matter of me steering people the right way. You have not earned the right to be talking to me, consuming my time on a regular basis if you are not doing. Can you imagine you are an Immunotec consultant? Of course, of late, some of you have been watching and following the series of training that we have. I just did series number 6, which is, you know, inviting a prospect to make a sign-up decision. That's series number 6. But you realize series number 1 is about taking your product. How fundamental is that? We have to teach people how to take their product. It may sound trivial, but it's so important. Can you imagine you are the owner of a restaurant? And every time you're hungry, you have to step out and go eat outside and your customers watching you. You know how scary that is and the kind of message you're sending out? So being on auto-ship, it takes it a step further than just being, a good customer for yourself, for your product. It's a commitment. When you're on auto-ship, it's a commitment. There's a reason why the companies even give you extra discount, because your credit card is on file. It guarantees them the sale, but it also guarantees you the fact that your product is going to be arriving on a certain date. It's a commitment. The company is willing to give you that extra discount. They know that your credit card is going to be charged. You're going to be paying interest, so they have to give you extra discount. How do I know this? I'm one of the people who helped to design this compensation plan that we have. I remember in the spring of 2009, our CEO at the time, Immunotec, called a few people, and we were locked in a room. Beautiful hotel, of course. So I didn't complain. It's called Chateau Vaudreuil. Beautiful place in Montreal. And all he said was, "You guys are going to figure this out." Now, back then, up until that, every few months, there's a change in the comp plan. Every few months. Just imagine you're on cruise control, you're traveling, and then there's a detour. You got to go back. Maybe 2 hours later, go make another turn. That was the journey some of us were on. So we did not have a very smooth comp plan. And then 2009, spring of 2009, we were tasked to this. And by November of 2009, this comp plan that we have was born. It has never changed since then. I just feel proud to know that not only that I'm trying to take credit for this, but I was there. I was instrumental in helping design this comp plan for the benefit of short-term and long-term. Is it perfect? No, it's far from it. But it's been far better than anything we had in our first almost 10 years in this business. Number 3, personal development. Even though from authorship to team building and personal development, number 3, some of this may sound very fundamental, but I'm telling you, without a personal development, oh my goodness. Yeah, when it rains on your parade, everything will be so soaky wet, and you don't want yourself in a situation where you have no umbrella when it's raining. Mm-hmm. And the personal development is what is going to help you. The book that you're going to be reading, the podcasts, the CDs and audios that you're going to be listening to. Today, fortunately, on YouTube, there are so many great speakers. So many great speakers. I'll say one more thing, and then I will leave the line to Conrad, and I'll take questions. But from everything that you know, and if you don't know everything about this company, go back and revisit the history of this company. Get yourself fully immersed into this, because some of you, my goodness, Bruce, Conrad, and again, you guys are great communicators. It's amazing. I've listened to you guys. You may not know that I pay attention, but whether it's, Bruce co-hosting an event with Jim or whatever, you guys are great communicators. I had to really push myself to get to where I am right now. English wasn't my first language. It's still probably not my fifth. But I had to really do some uncomfortable stuff to get to where I am today. I'm telling you guys. If any of my teachers were alive today to find out that I have written a book, it's like, get out of here. How did he do that? It's a miracle. That's all I can tell you. It's a miracle. So, if I can leave you with this before I take questions, okay? The word impossible, every time you write the word impossible, if you can remove the IMP, these three letters from the word impossible, once you take out the IMP, everything else becomes possible. So you can write the word impossible, but make sure the first 3, you underline them or you circle them and separate them from everything that you're going to be doing from this point forward. Because if you don't do that, then whatever rank you're trying to achieve now, whether it's diamond, executive diamond, or platinum, all you're going to be seeing is impossible. But I'm encouraging you, yes, it's a word in the English language, but you have to find a creative way to get rid of the first three letters, IMP. And if you can do that, you would never put limit on yourself. I have no limitation. I don't know exactly when I'm going to go platinum, but I can tell you I'm going platinum. That I can tell you. I don't even need to convince you. I am going platinum. And I say to my team, I'm going with you or without you. And when I say with you or without you, I'm talking to my current team members that they can come along with me. I'm encouraging that. But if they don't, every single day, every single month, I'm treating this business like I'm starting brand new. That's why I know I can go platinum. That's the only reason why I know, because I know that if I'm signing on the dotted line today, based on what I know now and what I believe, there's absolutely no reason why I should not go platinum. Nobody knows about tomorrow, but I know this. God spared my life for years to come. For sure, I'm going to be platinum, and you are going to witness. Back to you, Conrad.
Oh, thank you so much. So much. Oh, my goodness, Foster. I owe you a debt of gratitude. Folks, hopefully you guys